First, we would like to pay homage to the lineage gurus who transmitted the Buddha Dharma. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liaoming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong Dejong Rinpoche. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dupten Dorji. And we pay homage to the main deity of the ceremony today, the manifestation of our Dharma Buddha, the Mahottara Heruka. Let's pay homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Herukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and divinities. Sumu, Dupten Siddhi Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and we would like to offer the utmost gratitude to Yang Berhormat Senator Heng Se Kai, the Deputy Minister of Women, also Family and Community Development Malaysia, who's also representing the Office of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Home Affairs, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid bin Hamidi. And also Yang Berbahagia Datuk Tan Yau Chong, Deputy Secretary General of the Ministry of Energy, Technology and Water. And also the Yang Mulia Datuk Seri Tunku Rosila Aslan bin Tuan Mat. And also all other distinguished guests. And to the President of the Federation of True Buddhist School Malaysia, all the directors, and also all the masters, reference, and participants, and especially the volunteers. We would like to thank them for their hard work and best effort to make this ceremony possible. So here I would like to offer my gratitude. Terima kasih. Today's ceremony is like a family, like a carnival. It started at 1 and now it's almost 4. And the main deity today was a Dharma Buddha's manifestation, the Mahottara Heruka. Today's deity of the ceremony is Mahottara Heruka, a manifestation of the Dharma Buddha. And the mantra of the Mahottara Heruka and also the mantra for Mahabala. And the mudra for Mahottara Heruka It's like a pyramid. From the top to the bottom. This mudra is the mudra of Mahottara Heruka. And this is the mudra of Mahabala, which is the subjugation mudra, or Anjani mudra. You may visualize Mahottara Heruka and also the image of Mahabala. During the Hatha offering today, I observe through my eyes there were many followers who have gained the greatest yogic spiritual responses. Someone was in a wheelchair and pushed for a blessing from Grandmaster. And he made an offering of hatha. When I hang the hatha on his neck, all of a sudden he stood up from the wheelchair. Oh, I said stood up from on the wheelchair. Actually, he stood up from the wheelchair. And there was a mad person, a crazy person. And he was brought out from the mental hospital. And he dreamt of Grandmaster Lu telling him that he has to attend today's ceremony in order to have his mental disease to be cured. And someone who had his altar consecrated by the witch. And this morning, he's discovered that there were lots of rice on his altar. And what does the rice represent is for purification of the altar. And this morning, someone took a picture of a vertical rainbow in the sky. The rainbow descended from the sky vertically. So it proved that today's ceremony is extremely glorious. During the Hatha offering, there was a lady who told Grandmaster that there was a horrible pain on her shoulder. And she told me that she had taken 3 fools and 3 talismans of the witch. And it became even more painful. And she presented the Hatha offering to Grandmaster. And Grandmaster hung the Hatha on her neck and tapped on her shoulder 3 times. And she walked away and immediately returned and told me that her pain had disappeared. So with the hatha offering and tapping on her shoulder twice, and the pain on her shoulder disappeared right away. And there was a disciple that's been in coma and laying in bed. And the coma scored at 6. He couldn't gain consciousness. And all of a sudden, this morning, he dreamt of Grandmaster telling him that you have to get up and attend the ceremony. And as a result, he did come and attend this ceremony. He woke up from his coma. So during the hatha offering today, someone was tiptoeing back and forth, and he had taken the witch talisman, and ever since he took the witch talisman of Fu, he couldn't walk stably. So I tapped twice on his legs, and afterwards his legs regained the function and he was cured. And there was someone that told Grandmaster that there is a ghost inside his body, inside his heart, and asked Grandmaster, please purify me and chase away the ghost. And I tapped on his head, and he wrote, I pray for repurification. And so many people, when they make hatha offering, they ask for repurification. And also many people ask for repentance, because they used to have total trust in the witch. And Grandmaster accepted their repentance and repurified them. And among them, there was one, when I tapped on his forehead, he spit out a breath, and I saw a green tiny ghost coming out from his mouth. And going home tonight, he would have good sleeps. So during hatha offering earlier, there were already many miracles. So today, being here, listening to Mahotara's mantra, you will also experience miracles with the illness in your body. Because I never saw a vertical rainbow that descend from the sky to the ceremony. Everyone receive the blessing of the rainbow light from the sky. And all the illnesses of the body and mind will be eradicated. So today, I will transmit the Dharma of Mahotara Heruka. And Mahotara's mudra is like a pyramid. At the tip, at the top, do you know, in the $1 US bill, on it there is a pyramid, and there's an eye on that pyramid. That is the mark of Mahotara Heruka. So the eye of the Buddha in the sky on a pyramid and a dot at the top. At the bottom is the sentient beings. And that is the whole universe. That's the great net of illusion of the Buddhas. And at the bottom, they're all sentient beings. And at the top is Mahotara Heruka. And Adharma Buddha or Samatha Bhadra Tathagata. Tathagata's eye. And it's shine downward. So the rainbow light today is a vertical rainbow. From the topmost place all the way down to our ceremonial hall. After listening to the mantra, there would be many yogic responses. All your wishes will be fulfilled. All of your wishes will be fulfilled. If you had obstructions, upon repurification, especially after repentance, then it would all be purified completely. The whole, all the evil spirits, demons and monsters in the whole Malaysia will be woken up and chased away upon this Mahotara ceremony. Let me tell you, Sakyamuni Buddha once said, what is the transgressions? In the Sangha, there are several monks. What is the greatest suffering is being sick. It's fine for a healthy person, but if you are unhealthy, that's a lot of suffering. So being sick is suffering. And there's another monk who said that hunger is the greatest suffering when you have nothing to eat. So, is thirsty a suffering? Yes. Let Grandmaster have a sip. So being hungry, is that a lot of suffering? Yes. And being old, is it suffering? It is. 10 years ago, Grandmaster came to Malaysia. At that time, Grandmaster was only in the 60s, still at his best, at my best. And this year, I'm 73. You know, there are not that many decades in a human life. Dharma Sister Linda Chung had said that at 1, you were born with merriment. At 10, you're into your studies. At 20, you're at the top of your youth. At 30, you're into your career. At 40, you start to gain weight. At 50, you're in middle age. At 60, your blood pressure starts to rise. At 70, sometimes you would become forgetful. At 80, you wobble when you walk. At 90, you've lost your memory. At 100, you hang on the wall. There are not that many decades in a human life. For 10 years, the river runs east. Another 10 years, the river runs west. These few days in Malaysia, there's so many photographers and cameramen following me everywhere, taking my pictures. Only in 2 or 3 days, and there may be thousands of shots or tens of thousands. They flash their cameras until my nose is about to drop. Too many flashes. I did not have any age spots, and now they all came out. I did not have any wrinkles before, and during these past 2 days, I developed my wrinkles, and my ears were fine. Now, with your flashes, now the ears droop, that I look like Amitabha Buddha, that I have become Amitabha Buddha. So please, don't use that strong flashes. If you take a picture of a bodhisattva with the flash, the wooden statue would fall because the camera's flash are too strong. Please don't use them. Otherwise, only for the past 3 days, the itch spot I didn't have before, but now I do. Even on my hands, they're getting more and more. Grandmaster is already 73. I hope Grandmaster does not desire to have a long life, but I want to have a rich life, a meaningful life. Primarily, we want to deliver sentient beings. So that sentient beings have the right thought, the right mind. Sakyamuni Buddha said, he has said a very important statement. the three Dharma silas, that everything is impermanent. The Four Noble Truths, everything is impermanent. That's the ultimate truth, that everything is impermanent. And second, everything has no intrinsic self. That everything has no self. And next is that nirvana, or extinction, is bliss. So that's about extinction. And ultimately, nirvana is bliss. And next is that everything is emptiness. Everything is emptiness. So first we talk about suffering, emptiness, impermanence, and no self. So why do we have lots of suffering? Like we said earlier, being sick or getting older, getting age. And when you die, so being born, getting older, being sick, and dying, that's all sufferings. Or you don't get what you want, that's also suffering. Also being together with those you despise is also suffering. So those who you love are not around you, but those whom you despise are always around you. Or not getting what you want, that's suffering. Being together with those you despise, or being separated from your loved ones. Like one is in Southeast Asia, another one is in America, another one in Europe. That your loved ones is in Europe or Australia, and they're not by your side. But people in this world treat suffering as a kind of happiness. Actually, that's not right. According to the teaching of the Buddha, in Mahatara Heruka, because human beings suffer, we want to return to our original spot in order to gain happiness. As we know, in the 10 Dharma realms, for the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Sravakas, they're all the sages. These 4 realms are the sages. And in heavens are with the most pleasure, and in the human realm is mixture of happiness and suffering. And in Asura, there's so many battles and fightings, and there are lots of sufferings in the 3 realms, in the 3 lower realms. So human being is the best for spiritual cultivation. We hope through this pyramid we return to our original point. We return to the realm of the four sages. Only this way we can leave behind sufferings and gain happiness. There is a place, it's the place of the Buddha, a Buddha land. The place for Buddhahood. So the four sagely realms are the true happiness. There are four merits and virtues to the Nirvana's extinction. There are four of them, and one of them is permanence, happiness, self, and purity. So in Nirvana or extinction, you would gain four important virtues and merits of Nirvana. One is permanence. Human lives are impermanence because nobody can live to be few $100, a few hundred years. There may be someone that lived to be 120, but no one over 150 years old. So that's why human life is impermanent. In the past, my guru told me that our cells renew every day. That's impermanence. Time is also impermanent. When I came 10 years ago, my body was extremely strong. 10 years later, coming here again, my body is also extremely strong, -1. A little less, still less. At 83, I don't know if I can come here again or not. I don't know. It's just a question mark. Nobody can guarantee. Why? Because it is impermanence. Do we have different mindsets now from the past? Yes, it's different. Human lives are fragile. There are changes inside our bodies. And human hearts are also fragile. What does it mean? That everyone's heart is changing every day. It's always changing. In this world, the one with the greatest perseverance is Grandmaster Lu. Steadfastness. Every single day I write books. Now I have written 264 books, and my next book is 65th book. So think about it. Is there anyone else that would write every single day? Grandmaster Lu every single day writes an article. And Grandmaster Lu does his practice every single day, never stopped. Typically speaking, people's thoughts change, people's bodies change. But we can transform impermanence into permanence. Because after entering nirvana is bliss, because you have gained enlightenment, and this enlightenment is eternal. It's the fruition of Buddhahood. The fruition of a Buddha, then it becomes permanence. Grandmaster Lu writes every single day, practices every single day. I change impermanence into permanence. The greatest formula for you is to practice every single day, and you would become permanent. And the bliss, happiness. We all know bliss in Tantrayana is when your qi is circulating all over your body, and your inner fire can circulate all over your body. And your skin pores are all open. And the bliss that you experience at that moment is infinite. So the suffering of human realm can be transformed into permanent bliss through spiritual cultivation. Everything in this world is a great net of illusions. By abandoning this net of illusion, then you can find the eternal bliss. Your whole body is transformed into bright light, and you emit light all over your body. And what is that? That's purity. Why your whole body will shine light? Let me tell you. Because you have ignited your inner fire, and the fire brings light. And inside your body, there's light drops descending, and light drops are very bright with a white light. So the red light of the inner fire and the white light of the light drops merging, then it would become the rainbow light. And when it's emitted from your body, it would become like the aura of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It's completely pure. It's not a contamination at all. No other contaminations will be able to touch it. So you would gain the permanence, bliss, and purity. You can regain this through your spiritual cultivation. And the last one is self. What is happiness or bliss? You get what you want. That's the use of the self. Like Master Hui Jun, where is she seated at? Master Hui Jun is not here today. She's sick, right? What she likes most is ice cream. She loves to eat ice cream. her mark on her website is her hand is carrying ice cream. And eventually, one day, she could not eat ice cream anymore because she was sick. And she's sick, so she cannot come here because she had inflammation of the pancreas. So she suffered too. She had. However, when you make use of self, whatever you wish for will appear for you to use or enjoy. So this is called the use of self. And the function of self and the function of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is infinite. It's always pure and it is permanent. So that's why it's called permanence, bliss, self, and purity. 常乐我净. And that's the fruition from our spiritual cultivation. Without exerting on spiritual cultivation, it's impossible for you to attain the permanence, bliss, self, and purity. Instead, what you get is sufferings, emptiness, impermanence, and self. And sentient beings are always amidst this suffering, emptiness, self. And when you reach the highest point, then you would gain the permanence, bliss, self, and purity. In the past, someone told me, what use is Buddhahood? There's nothing, it's complete emptiness. Why would I want to attain Buddhahood? It's best just to go to heavens to enjoy the pleasures there. But the pleasures in heaven is not permanent. It's similar to the human world, because the bliss in the human world is impermanent. As we all know, there's this joke. It's a Taiwanese joke. There was a president who's on the plane, and the president told the pilot, let's drop 10 1,000 NT dollar bills from the plane, and those 10 people who got the dollar bills would be very happy. And his assistant said, it's best to throw 1,000 of 100 pieces of $100 bills, so 100 people would be happy. And the pilot instead said, why don't you throw yourself off and everybody would be happy? So that's why fame and positions are not the best thing. Most people want the highest positions, like the leaders of the nations. And they wish that the leader of the country ding ding or die and everybody would be happy. It's just a joke. I'm not talking about any particular country. So name and status can make you happy, but you want to let the people be happy too. then it would be win-win, would be happy. It's best to have everybody be happy rather than you're happy by yourself. If you are the only one who's happy, and then all your people suffer, when the people cannot be happy, they wish that the leader will die right away. So what use to be a leader then? And you're not happy because the people are not happy, and it'll be hard for you to be happy. There's no use for you to be happy but on your own. So the name and positions are also ever changing. Money is also ever changing. Someone went to McDonald's and there was a beggar next to it. And he was checking on the stock market, and the beggar told him, you should buy this and that stock, and had suggestion how to play the stocks. The beggar kept telling him. And that person said, you as a beggar, how could you understand how to play the stock market? And then the beggar replied, because in the past I also played in the stock market before I became a beggar. So he was rich and he played the stock, and now he's a beggar. So that's why money also flows here and there. It's also impermanent. So the game of money is not always happiness. And the haves become the have-nots, and the have-nots become the haves. So it's ever-changing. We all know, just now when I accepted the Hatha offering, there was an elderly lady. When Grandmaster was young, I met the elderly ladies. That was 30 years ago, because the Grandmaster came to Malaysia more than twice. There was once that I came here for 1 month. In that book, Layers of Hills and Mountains. And this elderly lady was extremely gorgeous lady at that time, every one of them. And now some of them are on wheelchairs, some cannot move their knees, some they walk really slowly and in tiny steps. Some have to be supported by other people. So the goddesses of the past now have become the old goddesses. So even beauty cannot be held forever, right? In the past, Grandmaster could run 100 meters for 11 seconds. Now, for 100 meters, Grandmaster will run for how long? Well, I never tried. I don't dare to. 100 meters. Maybe I should try later. Can Grandmaster run 100 meters for 11 seconds? Well, let's not think of it. Grandmaster was young and handsome before too. I had the picture in a youth outfit here, and the hair. And the hair sweeping like a Jizhou. Really cool. I have been keeping that photo. Let me try to visualize and see if I can regain that. But that's in the past. So the past will never return. Just like that song of Wang Luoping. Like the birds of youth, once it's flown, it will never return. Can you sing it? It's gone. So Wang Luoping was also a disciple of Grandmaster, and Wang Luoping has passed. He cannot return. So Grandmaster's bird of youth has also gone. It will not return. Good thing that Grandmaster cultivates spiritually. So when one bird is flown, there's still another bird remaining, And this little bird is the bird of Buddhahood. It's the phoenix that relies on the Buddha. But I don't know what the future holds. It's a question mark. And the world belongs to the past, the present, and the future. And in terms of Buddhahood, when you practice Mahotara Heruka, then you would know. When you reach the top, that you would attain the permanent. So Grandmaster encouraged all of you to gain or to attain the eternal permanence, the eternal bliss, and the eternal purity, and the eternal self-function. By practicing Mahotara Heruka, you would gain 4 words: permanence, bliss, self, and purity. If you don't cultivate spiritually, you always stay in suffering, emptiness, impermanence, and no self. You're always in that suffering, emptiness, impermanence, and no self. Grandmaster has no fear for anything. There's no fear inside my heart. Why? because there's equality among all sentient beings. They all have Buddha nature. And you need to generate your Buddha nature. You need to make your Buddha nature appear. You know, the great net of illusion, the whole universe is the great net of illusion. And the net is the time. So when it transforms to become a net, that's the time dimension. The past, present, and future. And the whole universe is the net. In the wheel of time, everything will pass, and it never exists eternally. It never exists. Only through spiritual cultivation, by attaining permanence, bliss, self, and purity, only by attaining those you have true attainments. Let me tell you, by keeping the 5 precepts, you can be born as a human being. So that's the human Buddhism, by keeping the 5 precepts. And on top of that, if you perform the 10 good deeds, then you can be born into the heavenly realms. And if you practice the 4 sagely realms, then you would gain the Buddhism of the Hinayana Buddhism. And then if you practice the 12 links of conditions and causes, then you would gain the Sravaka's Buddhism. And if you help and deliver sentient beings, and you give your own realizations to sentient beings, then you would gain the Bodhisattva or Mahayana Buddhism. So the 5 vehicles, the human, heaven, Asura, Arhat, not Asura, Arhat, Sravaka, or Prateka Buddha, and Bodhisattva. So the 5 vehicles of Buddhism. If you wish to be reborn as a human being and the top kind of human beings, then you should abide by the 5 precepts. If you want to go to heavens, then you should perform the 10 good deeds. And if you can practice the 4 sagely realms, the 4 noble truths, then you would attain the arhatship. And if you practice the 12 links and causes of conditions, then you would attain the realm of Prateka Buddhahood. And if you practice the 6 paramitas, then you would become a bodhisattva. So they're all steps by step. So like Grandmaster tell everybody, it is rare and difficult to be reborn as a human being. So make best use of it to cultivate spiritually and have attainments. Then you can be like the great Heruka, Mahotara Heruka, like the eye of the Buddha, that in the sky you can help and deliver innumerable sentient beings. And by being a bodhisattva or Buddha, you can also deliver innumerable sentient beings. But please remember, you need to follow the true and authentic Buddhism. never worship the ghost. Please don't believe the witch. She has walked on the wrong path. So let's all guide her not to worship the ghost anymore. Let's use all of our power to salvage her. Let's gather the power of all true Buddha disciples and all people to salvage that group who worship ghosts. Because in the spirit realm, ghosts are at the lowest, and at the top are the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, and at the top, at the lowest are the ghosts. And by worshipping the ghosts, of course you would become a ghost. And by worshipping the Buddhas, you would become a Buddha. And by worshipping the Bodhisattvas, you would become a Bodhisattva. And of course, if you worship the ghost, you become a ghost. So we have compassionate heart. So let us all save and salvage that ghost worshipping group, so that we have the right mind and the right thought of Buddhism. Greed, anger, delusion, doubts, and pride are not good, but worshipping ghosts is even worse. By worshipping the ghost, then you develop greed, anger, and delusion. So please don't worship the ghost that's at the lowest. We want to worship the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas who are at the top. And only this is the proper Buddhism. All his life, Sakyamuni Buddha had a very important key point. He did not encourage fortune-telling, divination, and geomancy and feng shui. He was rather against those, because those are only for use in the human world. They're still worldly. And he also discouraged transcendent power or supernatural power. Moreover, the psychic power of the ghost, that's not the real transcendent power. It's just the... So Sakyamuni Buddha was against transcendent power, because those are just functions or side effects. That's not Buddhahood. That's not attaining Buddhahood. Because only by having the right thought, the right mind, the right faith, the right cultivation, the right spiritual cultivation, only by having all those 8 noble paths, you can attain Buddhahood. So today, teaching the Mahavotara Heruka, the key point is everything from mundanity of the sentient beings to the realm of Buddhahood. It is all a great net of illusion. And we use the Mahavotara Heruka to encounter and eliminate the deviant spirits and gods and ghosts. And we walk on the right path. And I hope every one of you with the right affinity can attain bodhisattvahood and Buddhahood. So today, thank you to everybody that by receiving the empowerment today, you can go into further how to practice the Mahottara Heruka.